The Tennis Gambling Podcast on the Sports Game Podcast Network is brought to you by Edge Boost. Banking off better. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet. With the promo code SGPN, you get a free Terra's t-shirt. Claim your shirt at sportsgamepodcast.com/refs. And welcome, everybody, to the Tennis Game Podcast here on the Sports Game Podcast Network. It is currently Sunday night, June 15th, around 11 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm as always, Scott Reichel, once again going solo for this pod. Time to get into the breakdown of two more grass events. We have Halle and we have London. So we're going to break down both matches, or I should say both tournaments, in a second. Before that, though, I want to briefly get into the recap of what happened in the final matches in Stuttgart and in Den Bosch. So I'm going to break that down in a second. A reminder, though, before we actually get into any of the recap, that you can help support the show by liking and subscribing on YouTube. And a reminder, podcast is also available on audio formats only on Spotify or Apple. So no matter how you actually consume the podcast, you can please leave some type of feedback, either like and subscribe or leave a rating and a review to help the show grow, either on YouTube or on Spotify or Apple. Plus, a reminder, you can also check out the merch store on the HSBC website. We have a lot of great tennis stuff. We have some shirts, sweatshirts, mugs, different colors, very affordable, comfortable as well. Recommend getting yourself something there. Plus, a reminder that we do have a couple of new, I'd say, forms of content coming out, because the college football team previews are back on the College Experience. Kobe and Moneyline Mac are going to be breaking down every FBS college football team the upcoming season. So check out the College Experience. Don't miss out. College football is, I don't want to say right around the corner, but it's never too early to get prepared. And once again, you have a lot of teams to cover, and they'll be covering every team in the FBS. So check that out as well if you want to get into college football in the middle of June. Anyway, time to move on into the recap of what happened in the last episode. Unfortunately, did not work out, as we ended up doubling down in the Stuttgart final. Didn't work out because Zverev killed us. For the lock, we had Zverev team total over 13 at minus 140. For the dog, we had Zverev team total over 13.5, parlayed with Fritz team total over 13.5 at plus 154. There were only two outcomes where we would have lost both, and one of them was Zverev winning comfortably in straight sets, which we did not see happening. The problem was the other way we could lose, which was Fritz winning in straight sets. And that's what happened, as Fritz ended up winning the first set with a break, and then won the second set with a breaker, as he won 7-0 in the tiebreak. But Zverev completely no-showed the breaker, and we needed that in order to win. If Zverev does win that breaker, we're in a great spot to cash both, but unfortunately, the guy who was minus 400 to win a set ended up losing both sets. So either way, just an absolute joke of a performance from Zverev in that breaker. Yeah, just a pain in the ass. Really nothing else to add there. Zverev had some opportunities, really did not convert. Fritz faced 0 break points the entire match. He served very well, but I thought Zverev was always a step behind in the return game. And I feel like Zverev had opportunities that he just didn't capitalize on. But Fritz played very well all week. Zverev did too for the most part. But Zverev just could not find an answer to the Fritz serve. And that was really the story of the match. But either way, I guess in one way, I'm not, in hindsight, that shocked that Fritz won, because he had won 4 straight against Zverev. Having said that, you fight all the way back to force a breaker. I think Fritz had a couple of break points as well in one of the last service games, and you were able to survive. It's one thing to lose in a breaker. You get bageled. You win 0 points in the breaker? Really? Like, I feel like that was just something that was unexpected. But Zverev fought off 1 break point into the 5-5 game, eventually got to the breaker, and no-showed the entire breaker. So nice job by Fritz to win the event, but still, Zverev not winning a set is rough. I would have been a lot cooler if he did win a set, but either way, point is Fritz got the job done. Nice job by him. And Zverev once again continues to, I guess, underachieve after making the Aussie Open final. Anyway, moving on to the other, I'd say, matches that ended up taking place on Sunday. So once again, Fritz ended up winning a title. So did Diallo, as Diallo did beat Bergs in a competitive straight set win. So I mentioned before, Fritz ended up getting the job done there. Diallo did win 7-5, 7-6. Picked him to win. I thought that he was a better player than Bergs. Very close, though, and Bergs actually had chances to win both sets and fumbled them. But for the actual stats here, Bergs ended up facing 2 break points, was never broken. Bergs faced 1 break point, and he was broken. So that was the story of the end of the first set. But the point is, Bergs' chances in both sets just could not convert. In the first set, for example, he had a 15-40 to go up 6-5 to serve out for the first set. Then he ended up not getting the break, and then he got broken himself. So he had a golden opportunity to go up a break late, did not convert. And then for the Second set, he had 3 set points in the tiebreak and punted them, and then lost on Diallo's second match point. So Bergs, once again, is kind of kicking himself. He had a couple chances to win each set, did not convert, and Bergs ended up falling short. So nice job by Diallo. We did pick that correctly. Thought he would win. But either way, his first ever title, I'm happy for him. Good for him. And once again, Bergs has made the final twice so far this year. He's 0-2. He's talented. He has to work out a couple of things with the first serve, but still, point is he had chances, didn't get there. Nice job by Diallo to win the pretty close straight set battle. Now, the most shocking outcome for the, I'd say, card on Sunday was not on the men's side. It was actually on the women's side because Maria went on a dream run and won a WTA 500 title. Now, for reference, she had been useless for months. She had lost 9 straight matches. 9. Before entering the event as a qualifier. She ended up going through qualifying. She won every match, no lucky loser draw, and then won the event. So Maria went from losing 9 in a row to winning a 500 title, which is pretty cool. So nice job by her. She was plus 220 in the final. Very impressive, though. Went to qualifying easily, then beat Fernandez, ended up beating Mukova, beat Rybakina, beat Keys, and beat Anisimova. A hell of a gauntlet. It wasn't even like a Cinderella final where she had to go up against an unknown and you had yourself a Cinderella off basically in the final. Maria just going through all those quality players. Rybakina, former Wimbledon champion. Keys, who we know is a Grand Slam champion this year in the Australian Open, who's also good on grass. Anisimova's top 15 again. Mukova's had some injuries, but she's also a solid player. What a run by Maria. Good for her at the end of the day. So that was definitely unexpected. That was the biggest shock of arguably the season for a title winner. Nobody saw that coming. But nice job by Maria. She does have a very, very, I'd say, specific slice-heavy game, which does translate well to grass. It did in this case, and the point is she got the job done there. But nice job by her, sticking with it, losing 9 in a row, and then winning a title. So congratulations to Maria. Anyway, time to move on into the actual breakdown of the events for Halle and for London. Before getting to that, the reminder, they're brought to you by our sponsor, which is the sponsor we've had for the last couple of months or weeks. We have Edge Boost, because the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring that all your transactions are approved. No use fees and minutes. You can catch rewards as well as an approval. For all deposits time today, at edgeboost.bet. Code SGPN when you sign up. You get a free Rest Terrorist t-shirt. Claim your shirt at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/refs to claim your free shirt. We're also brought to you by Circa, because Circa is still hosting their Ultimate Defensible giveaway, which means that they are giving away the ultimate experience for a 12-person league. The draft in Vegas, which trigger VIPs for their stay. You get a limo ride from the airport, 5K tab for stadium swim, hotel stay for you and your 11 league mates. You can always get a 15% off discount for the Circa properties with promo code SGP15. Reminder, though, you can enter the contest for free at sportsgamble.com/Circa. That's sportsgamble.com/CIRCA. Welcome back, everyone, to the Tennis Game Podcast. Finish recapping what happened on Sunday. Time to move on into the matches and the events that we're going to talk about over the next week. Starting off with Halle. Now, this is one of the fastest-paced courts in the entire tour. Last year, we saw Sinner win as he was able to beat Hurkacz in 2 breakers. Bublik beat Rublev the year prior. Hurkacz beat Medvedev the year prior. And Humbert beat Rublev the year before that. So the common theme between the last 3 winners and basically the last 6 finalists, a good serve does go a long way. Sinner's great at everything. Hurkacz has a great serve. Bublik is a very good serve as well. Rublev's first serve can be good. Second serve is a bit shaky, but still. Hurkacz, though, is a former finalist and a former champion. Good serving goes a long way on the courts here in Halle. So keep that in mind. Should be a very, very entertaining tournament. A lot of short points, a lot of tie breaks, and we'll go from there. It's faster than Stuttgart, and Stuttgart was fast as well. So once again, keep that in mind. Should be a very, very serve-centric tournament where a lot of good servers go a long way into this tournament. Now, for the actual outrights, we have no quarter odds, so apologies there. But for the actual outrights for Halle, I'm going to read off the odds here. Starting off with the favorite, Sinner's back to defend his title at -150. Fresh off of the French Open final loss. He did not play last week. Zverev is at 6-1 off the loss in Stuttgart in the final. Medvedev's at 8-1 after losing to Opelka in Den Bosch. Hurkacz is at 11-1 off the injury. We'll see how healthy he is, which is a potential concern because the back's definitely bothering him, and that's why he dropped out of the event. We'll see how he looks in this one, though. You have Rublev at 12-1. You have Felix at 18-1. You have Tsitsipas at 25-1. Bublik at 25-1. You have Humbert at 28-1. You have Kashanov at 28-1. Struff is at 40-1. Fonseca's at 50-1. That's a more accurate price range, in my opinion. Shapo's at 50-1. Berg's at 65-1, fresh off the runner-up finish there in Den Bosch. You have Halle at 65-1. Magic at 80-1. You kind of get the point. So, the question to start off with, will anybody challenge Sinner? Probably not. I'm going to go with Sinner at minus 138. I kind of have to. Defending champion, we've mentioned this time and time again. The only guy that can actually beat him is Alcaraz. Sinner beats everybody he's supposed to, and he should beat everybody here. Former champion, solid serve, great forehand, great movement. He checks every box, and he's really good on the courts here. We saw that last year. Give me Sinner to win the event here. I think that it's a good price. I understand that it's a minus price, and I would normally not take a minus price. But with Sinner being involved, who loses to nobody besides Alcaraz, I got to take it. I don't really have a choice as far as I'm concerned. I just think that he's that good, and I'll make a case for him to make a potential deep run into the event here. So you know what? I am going to go with Sinner as my choice here. I just think it's a spot where he's a guy who is really unbeatable unless you're one guy on tour, and that guy's not here because Alcaraz in London. So give me Sinner to get the job done here for this one. I think that he, at the end of the day, might win without dropping a set. We'll see what happens, but either way, I think that it's a great overall opportunity for Sinner to take some frustration out after the French Open final loss, take advantage of the court speeds here, dominate with the serve and the forehand. Give me Sinner to win this in, I think, a pretty reasonable price of minus 138. Bit expensive, but honestly, it could be higher, and I would not argue with you. I think 138 is actually bettable, so I'll take that as my first choice for the outright. Now, this opens up a potential issue, which is picking anybody else who you think can actually win the event. I would have picked Hurkacz. Problem is, after the back issue that he suffered last week, I don't know how healthy he actually is, and the fact is he would have to face off against potentially, you're looking at Makic in the first round, not easy. You have Sinner maybe in the quarterfinals, which is not the draw you want for a rematch of the final. It's really tough to really find anybody else you think is worth a damn for this event because Sinner is kind of running unopposed in every event that he's actually in, besides Alcaraz being in the same event. So based on that, there's really not many names worth talking about. If I was going to go for any other long shots that I thought could be potentially intriguing, solely based on price, did I want to argue Tsitsipas? Because, I think Tsitsipas is a head case and a half. But 33-1 on the other side of the bracket, I think is really not that bad. Would he win? Probably not. He's been decent in the head-to-head against Sinner. Those are very dated. But you're trying to find anybody that can frustrate Sinner. And I don't really see anybody, to be honest. I think it's pretty straightforward. I think Tsitsipas at 33-1 makes sense for value, but he's been really bad over the last couple of months. So, yeah, I don't have much else to add. I feel like I'm only going to take one guy. I'm just going to take Sinner and move on with my life. I would have taken Hurkacz, but the back issues are concerning. So based on that, sorry to disappoint you, but Sinner kind of beats everybody in his path besides Alcaraz. So give me Sinner at minus 138. Am I going with anybody else? No, I don't think I am. Bublik is an interesting option, but he would place Sinner in the second round, so I'm going to have to pass on Bublik there. You have Makic and Hurkacz in the first round. Hurkacz might drop out. We'll see. He's in the same section as Sinner. Not ideal. You're looking at Kashanov, who's not looked that great this season. Rublev's not been consistent enough, and he's not the best on grass. Felix looked fine, but I don't think he would beat Sinner either, and he's in the same half. Face off against Rublev first, not ideal. Bottom half, Medvedev's a head case. I can't take him. Tsitsipas has been bad lately. I don't mind the draw for Tsitsipas, which is why 33-1 was kind of intriguing. I can't take Zverev. I hate that damn guy. Umbert's not good enough. Yeah, I'm running out of bodies. I just don't think there's anybody worth a damn to actually challenge Sinner in this event. If I had to go with somebody else, Tsitsipas would be my guess, just for the 33-1. If I had to go for a price, but I would not pick him to win either. But his draw is not that bad. So the honorable mention flyer would be Tsitsipas at 33-1, but Sinner is Sinner. I'm not going to make an argument for anybody else. Once again, apologies if you were hoping for another guy being mentioned, but I can't do it. Moving on to the next event. I promise I have other guys listed besides Alcaraz for London. So moving on to London here. Recent winners, you saw Dimonauer, who ended up beating Korda last year. Griekspoor beat Thompson the year before that. Or sorry, did I forget to adjust the winners? I wrote it down. I think I forgot to actually adjust the slide. So sorry, just give me 1 second here because I do have that written down. I know that Paul won last year, I believe. So yeah, I forgot to add that. So my bad. We're changing that right now. I was going to say Van Rijthoven, no chance in hell he won that. So for the recent winners in London, Paul beat Musetti last year. You saw Alcaraz beat Dimonauer. You saw Berrettini beat Krajinovic, and you ended up seeing Berrettini beat Norrie. So Berrettini has been good here in years past. Paul won last year against Musetti, who we thought was a lucky, I'd say, run for him. And then Musetti made a deep run in Wimbledon, and we realized he's actually not that bad on grass. But the point is, you're looking at what could be a bit more of an open field. Yes, Alcaraz is in this. Alcaraz is more prone to upsets than Sinner, which is why I think this draw is more open. But I'd argue it's pretty similar, where you have top-end talent. We know that Sinner and Alcaraz are clearly the top two players in the world. Everybody else is nowhere near them. Sinner and Alcaraz appear everybody else. So you're asking for a potential upset somewhere or an injury for Alcaraz, and we'll see what happens. But for the actual odds here, for the outrights, once again, no actual quarter odds for the event. Alcaraz at even money. You have Draper at plus 450. You have Fritz at 8-1. You have Dimonauer 10-1. Rune is at 14-1. Shelton's at 16-1. You have Leheshka at 22-1. Mensik 22-1. Opelka 28-1, Tiafoe 28-1, Perricard 35-1, Diallo fresh off the title, and Denbosch is 40-1. Papiron is 40-1, Monfils is 50-1. You have Thompson at 65-1, Nakashima 65-1. You kind of get the point. So for the draw, Alcaraz's draw, not bad. Now, it could get tricky in the quarterfinals. He has Fokina in the first round. He should win that. Fokina can be difficult on grass, but I think that Alcaraz should beat him. You have Thompson or Munar. Alcaraz will beat either one of those guys. You have probably Shelton in the quarters, which could be interesting. If Shelton does serve well, and I mean really well, like he did against Leheshka, he can pull that upset off. Will he? Probably not. But he gave Alcaraz run for his money in the French Open. He's looked good recently. He's now top 10 in the world. So the fact that Shelton is in the same quarter can be tricky for Alcaraz, but I think I would pick Alcaraz anyway. But Shelton maybe can pull off an upset if you are not expecting it. I can see that being the shocking upset of the weekend or the week. But either way, point is for the rest of the people here, he's in the same half as Rune, but Mensik hasn't really proven much on grass. Great server. He should be good on grass, but we haven't seen it yet. Norrie in the first round is also tricky in London, crowd being against Mensik. Could be an upset potential in the first round, so keep an eye out for that. For the bottom half, you have Draper against Brooksby. You have Tiafoe as a seeded guy in that section. Not a great draw for Tiafoe. Evans, who's also British. You have Nakashima or Perricard, and then Draper. Really not a great draw for Tiafoe. You have Fritz off the title against Moutet in the first round, then Fernley, but his main opponent would be Dimonauer or Leheshka. The fact is, you have Dimonauer, Leheshka, and Diallo all playing against each other within the first two rounds. So I like the draw for Fritz. I like the draw for Draper because I think that Tiafoe, Nakashima, Evans, and Perricard are going to kill each other. So based on that, I'm going pretty chalky for the event. Unlike Halle, though, I will be taking other people, not name the favorite. But I am taking Alcaraz at even money. I have to. He's a former champion here. He's off the French Open title. I know that's a changing of surface, but the point is we know that his skill set translates well to grass. Two-time Wimbledon champion. He's a phenomenal player. We know this. Him and Sinner are by far the best two in the world. I got to take him. Give me the former champion, even money here for my first choice. I am going to go Draper at 470, who has given Alcaraz some problems before. I like the draw at 470. And of course, he's British. So you do have the home country advantage element if you want to argue that too. But I like the draw itself. Not much competition. I said before that Tiafoe is his main opponent in that quarter, which does not scare me at all. I think Draper's game translates well to grass. I think he'll be able to look sharp. He did win he won a grass title last year, I believe. So point is, Draper's proven time and time again. He's a solid player on all surfaces. I think grass is very underrated for his skill set. I'll take him at 470. Think the draw is pretty favorable. And you know what? Even though he did win, I will take him again. Give me Fritz at 12-1. I understand fatigue could be an issue. He did not drop a set. He was great all week. Did not get broken in the entire event. His draw is very nice. Mutet in the first round, he should win. Fernley or Bolt, but you have Dimenauer against Leheshka in the first round. Diallo might be exhausted. It's really not a bad draw for Fritz. He would have to face off against, once again, Draper first. So he avoids Alcaraz until the final, which is kind of nice. But 12-1, I like as a price for a guy that's been serving very well, who we know can be very good on grass. Yes, he's streaky. It appears that he's back on track. He did not drop a set. He beat good opponents in the previous event in Stuttgart. I think 12-1 is, objectively speaking, a good price for Fritz. I'll take it with him being on the bottom half of the draw, avoiding Alcaraz at all costs. I see Manzi mentioning that Zverev is a joke, 100%. Yeah, we just talked about that earlier in the show. The banned list is definitely there, but it is what it is. Definitely not a fun time backing Zverev, so not ideal for the Sunday action. But either way, a point is, Cayetano's asking if Alcaraz has enough energy or care to win. You'd argue that maybe for one event, because you do want to go in with some type of grass comfortability before Wimbledon, where you want to actually look a bit experienced with a little bit of match experience under your belt for this calendar season before you get into Wimbledon. Will it matter for Alcaraz? Probably not. He'll destroy whoever's in the first round anyway. But the argument is you tend to see these superstar guys like Sinner and Alcaraz and company only show up for maybe one grass event and then move on and get ready for Wimbledon. So I think Alcaraz will care for this event. I think after this, he's probably skipping the rest of the grass slate and he'll just wait for Wimbledon. But I think he'll care for one event. Joker, even though he's an all-time great Wimbledon champion, won many Wimbledon titles, he would skip the grass season almost entirely, just show up at Wimbledon and win. He kind of did that for a few years as well. So I can go both ways, but Alcaraz historically has been willing to basically play one grass event a season, then he'll move to Wimbledon and he'll win. So I think he'll care. If he gets injured, he'll quit in a second. He's not going to try to tough it out with Wimbledon on deck, but I think he's definitely going to try. I think he's going to look sharp here early on, and if he stays fit, I think he'll win. So that's kind of what my thoughts are for there. For Manzi, though, I see him talking about Zverev. Yeah, the same thing I said before. We needed one set. The egg wasn't even him not winning a set. The egg was him not winning a point in the breaker. Losing 7-0 to Fritz on such a serve-heavy court is absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, I already talked about Zverev. He's dead to us. Point is, I think at the end of the day, it's going to be a pretty top-heavy week because you have two of the best players in the world in different events. If Sinner and Alcaraz were in the same event, that opens up a door for the other event, but that's not happening. So once again, the recaps here for the actual outrights. Sorry I didn't go outside the box here, but Sinner's in one event, Alcaraz is in the other. What do you want from me? Like, I got to pick the two best guys. So Sinner, I'm going to take as my only outright in Halle, defending champion, -138. For London, I am going to go with three guys. Alcaraz at +100, only because of durability concerns and the fact that Alcaraz is more susceptible to upsets than Sinner is. But you have Draper at 470. I'll take him for the home country angle, and I'll go with another guy in the bottom half. Give me Fritz off the title at 12-1. If the serve is as good as it was in Stuttgart, he can make some serious noise, and the draw is pretty good. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for my outrights for Halle and for London. Now it's time for the lock and dog picks for the show. Before we get into that, the reminder, they're brought to you by our sponsor, which is pulling it up right now, Underdog Fantasy, because you can check out Underdog. They've been going long for the NBA Finals with their extender bonus. Hop in game one. The longer the series goes, the bigger the bonus gets. You can also sign up for a new account. You have the code SGPN. Go to special pick any first time that offer up to 1K in bonus cash from fantasy promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm, because you've heard us talk about Rhythm before. They just dropped a game-changing feature called Power Trends and Detective Patterns. Rhythm's models have consistently have a high ROI. And a reminder, they are updated every day, and they're exclusive to Rhythm. No touts and noise, just clean data-backed picks. Download the app, check out Power Trends, start betting smarter. And a reminder, try to have a free for a week by using the 7-day free trial at sportsgame.com/Rhythm to get your 7-day free trial. We're also brought to you by MyBookie, because MyBookie is ATG's place for sport. They have NBA Finals, they have the NHL Stanley Cup, they have golf, they have UFC, you name it. They're also available to locations. Use crypto for Juan Jose Deposito Santo. For your new account, use code SGPN to get a 100% deposit match up to 1K. Terms and conditions MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN. Welcome back, everyone, to the Tennis Game Podcast. Finished going through the outrights for Halle and for London. Now it's time for the lock and dog picks. For the lock, I'm going to go with a parlay, actually. I'm going to go with a two-pick moneyline parlay. Give me Shelton moneyline, parlayed with Etcheverry moneyline at -122. That price was on DraftKings. So Shelton is against Rinderknech. I think Rinderknech is really not that great of a player. He has a good serve. Shelton, though, is much better. He's now a top 10 player in the world. He just lost in the semis in Stuttgart. He gave Zverev a run for his money. He fell short, was great against Lehecka. He made a respectable run. The point is, Shelton is a solid grass player. He's proven it. Rinderknech is fine on grass. Beat Chapo last week, who's been a mess for the last couple months. But he lost to Moutet in qualifying. The fact is, if you are going to be viewed as a solid server on a grass court, you can't lose to Moutet. I know Moutet can be tricky with the drop shots, etc., but Moutet is very short, and the fact that Rinderknech got broken multiple times against Moutet and he lost in 3 tells me that he is outmatched here. I think Shelton beats him, and I think it's a pretty safe money line leg for a parlay. Now, the other one's going to be tricky because Etcheverry and Martinez are both not good on grass at all. Etcheverry, though, we saw play last week. We faded him, actually. Took Virtanen team total over, which got there. Etcheverry, though, did lose 7-6, 7-5. He was in the match. He was close. But the point is, we saw Virtanen win a grass challenger the week prior. He's an underrated grass player. Etcheverry broke him a couple times. Martinez, though, did not play any of the grass events already. He has not played a grass match since 2024 in Wimbledon. So you have more experience by one match and change by Etcheverry, who was competitive against a guy who just won a grass challenger. I think that he's the better overall player than Martinez. Martinez, though, not a great server, and he's been really bad on grass historically. Martinez has lost 6 straight grass matches. He has not won a singles grass match since June 2022. It's been 3 years since Martinez has won a single grass match. Now, Etcheverry is not good on grass. He's better than that. And I do think with the court speeds here, I think Etcheverry is the better server. I think it'll be a close match, entertaining, but Etcheverry is the better player, I think, all around. And I think that his skill set translates better to grass than Martinez. I'll fade the guy that has not won a grass match in 3 years. Give me Etcheverry money line as the second leg of that parlay. And once again, that two-pick pays out of -122 on DraftKings. Now, for the actual dog, I'm going to go with McDonald against Monfils. Give me McDonald money line at +102. He's actually been quite good on grass lately, mostly in qualifying matches, but still. McDonald has won 5 of his last 6 grass matches. And the fact is, he went to qualifying here. He looked great, did not drop a set. I think that he is in pretty good form. Now, Monfils, we saw lose to Mickelson in the grass event last week. Then Mickelson lost to Engel, the 17-year-old German guy, in straight sets. So the Mickelson loss did not exactly age that well for Monfils. He also has not played at this event in a while. You'd think that Queen's Club is a pretty, I'd say, prestigious grass event on the actual calendar, and you figure Monfils, as an entertainer, would like to actually play here. However, a shocking stat, Monfils has played here before, but he has not played at Queen's Club since 2010. It has been 15 years since Monfils has played here. Meanwhile, McDonald went through qualifying, did not drop a set. He was here in qualifying last year. He was in qualifying in 2023. McDonald constantly shows up at this event. He's a good grass player. He lost a very close match to Khachanov in 3 sets last week. And a final set breaker. I think Monfils, once again, is past his prime. We saw the, I'd say, outrage that he received via DM of people cursing him out for losing their bets against Mickelson. And Monfils had the very funny response when it comes to talking about how he knows he sucks, how he's 38, etc. Monfils really has not been as, I'd say, solid on grass as you might think recently. And the fact is, we've seen McDonald constantly pushing in qualifiers, in, I'd say, just getting match experience on grass. And I thought he looked pretty good against Khachanov in that 3-setter, and he fell short. But I do think Monfils losing to Mickelson and then really not doing anything after that, I think that it's a pretty interesting line for McDonald to be a dog in this matchup. It should be close. It should be fun. I get Monfils is more talented as an overall player, but based on current form, I think the price should be closer to -110 apiece. You could argue McDonald should be favored in this match. I wouldn't argue with you. But +102, I like. Monfils not being, as good of a grass player as you might think in recent years, and with him not appearing on these courts in about 15 years, I think it's a good spot for McDonald to win. So give me McDonald in what could be a marathon. I think I'll outlast Monfils. Give me the dog here at plus 102 for my dog pick for the show. So once again, the picks for the show. The lock's going to be on Shelton money line, with the Javeri money line at minus 122. For the dog, I'm going to go with McDonald money line at plus 102. Against Monfils, that's where I wrap up for the show. Back once again to get into the quarterfinals in Halle and in London in a few days. Till next time, I'm on Twitter Radio. Good luck to all of you and all of your bets. Bye, everyone.